Well, good morning, everyone. This is Financial Fed Friday. Thank you all so much for coming and joining us for this live event.
Yes.
So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm one of your Fed Friday hosts, Darlene Jenkins, and my partner,
Dr. Rita B. Rowland.
Yes, she does. And we also have some other team members here.
Yes.
Although Rita and I, we do Financial Fed Friday, we have a whole team here at Affordable Benefit Solutions, as well as some affinity partners that make us look good. So first,
Yes.
I want to introduce the Affordable Benefits team. We have here in the back Mr. Robert Bailey.
Yes, not my husband.
That's her brother. Then we also have our other team member, Mrs. Javon Jackson.
Yes, she holds us down on Facebook. So
Yes,
many times when you have questions, it's Javon who's helping to answer them because we're so busy trying to get it together.
Exactly. We also have one of our marketing partners, Mr. David Ocasio from Kessler Financial, that allows us to bring you these wonderful plans to help you. And then we also have our other business partner, Mr. Kuzman from Lafayette Federal Credit Union. And we have a surprise for you all. He's going to come up during the break. He has some great information for you that he's going to be sharing with you.
All right.
So, Rita, we ready?
We ready.
All right, let's get started. So, Financial Fed Fridays, in case any of you are new and you have not listened to us on the webinar, this is a webinar that we do every other Friday at 10 a.m. But guess what? We're also broadcasting simultaneously live on Facebook. Yay. So we're on Facebook also, and during this Financial Fed Friday, what we do is we pull back the curtains so that you can get an in-depth understanding not only of your benefits that you have on the job, but also some of the best investment options for you. So you can register for this event. Tell your friends and family to go to www.ritabrolandevents.com. And of course, please go to Facebook and like us at Your AB Solutions. So the whole purpose of the Financial Fed Friday series is just to help you understand not only your benefits, your money, your spending habits, but then more importantly to help offer support and offer solutions to help you reach your financial destination. That's what this Fed Friday team and Affordable Benefit Solutions, that's what we're here to do. So this morning, I have to put this out here right now. The information that we're going to share is going to be very general in nature because without knowing each individual situation in here, and I know you all are going to have questions, but I would ask if you could please hold them to the end. So we can't customize the presentation, to the specific questions you have. But what you can do is contact Rita and I at Affordable Benefit Solutions, and any of the information that we're going to go over, you can say, hey, Darlene, hey, Rita, I really want to know how that will benefit me. And we can get that information to you. So with that in mind, please just accept the information that we're going to go over as general in nature. Is that good?
Yeah, that's good.
All right. So today, what we're going to be discussing today is healthcare costs and financial planning. Now, Rita and I, we like to make sure we get you involved also because we don't want you just listening to us talk. In order for this information to be effective for you, you have to get involved. So you got some folders today, and we have a note sheet in there for you. So we have some questions to ponder. And just real quick, you see Rita and I up here, we're drinking our morning brew.
And these are for sale at the end.
At the end. And also we have our notebooks so you don't have to keep having pieces of paper. You can also purchase the Financial Fed Friday notebook. And we have a whole swag bag in the back that Mrs. Jackson can let you know about. So we have these questions to ponder. Get out your paper, start taking down, writing your answers because this is just to get your mind thinking. So the first question is, have you considered how healthcare costs can impact your standard of living? Rising healthcare costs. Have you even thought about that? How healthy are you today? What's your health today? Because that will kind of predicate what's going to happen in the future. If you became sick or hurt and couldn't work today, where would you get the money from to live on? Where's it going to come from?
Good question. Good question.
Where's it going to come from? What are you going to do? And I'm going to share a little bit of my story and why these questions are so important. Now, what is the maximum amount of money that you can afford to cover an unplanned expense today? If something came up unexpected, your roof caved in, you got into a severe car accident, anything happened, just some unplanned expense, what's the maximum amount of money that you can say, hey, bam, I got that? What's that amount? Have you ever completed a future health care cost assessment? Have you ever thought about that? And lastly, has a financial professional ever discussed with you or brought up with you health care costs regarding your financial planning? Because this is a very, very pivotal portion of your financial planning.
I would be also tell you, if you're young in this room, don't take this for granted that you have a long time, that you got years to plan. Healthcare is critical in the United States, and being proactive in your healthcare is major. So we want to make sure that if you're in your 30s or your 40s, you don't disrespect the fact that pay attention and listen, okay?
Absolutely, Rita, absolutely. So with that in mind, we're going to address some of these issues today. So the healthcare costs, Nationwide Insurance Company, along with Harris Poll, they did a survey. And what they did was they surveyed people who were age 50 and older, who were caregivers or who are caregivers right now, to determine what impact healthcare costs played on their standard of living, and if they were retired, how that impacted them. So these are some of the findings from that survey. The first thing they found out is that 4 out of 5 people could not accurately estimate how much they can expect to pay for health care in their retirement as they're in their retirement age. So if you are young, and for most people, including myself, if I'm just being transparent, healthcare costs was not on my radar. I'm trying to make sure I have enough money to retire. But then my life got interrupted dramatically when my mom got sick. So through her experience, I realized how important healthcare costs and the role it can play in your retirement and your financial future, because you don't have to be retired for your life to be interrupted due to a health issue or an illness or accident. So also what they found is that 20% of the respondents, 1/5, engaged in some type of behavior that could negatively impact their health, including delaying going to the doctor when you get sick. How many of us was like, oh, well, it don't hurt that bad, right? It's okay.
I'm going to try some herbs and go to I'm going to do my herbs and,
exactly.
I'm going to get this,
It'll stop. I'm going to drink some ginger ale. Right?
Our own concoctions.
Right.
A little bit of ginger, a little bit of this. Sophia.
Right. In the room. Also, 7% reduced spending on groceries. Not eating healthy. Skipping routine and preventative appointments. I do that mammogram next year. I'm not going to get that, what is it called?
Colonoscopy.
That colonoscopy. But what do the men have to do?
The prostate.
The prostate exam. I'm just saying, I know none in here will do that, but on the survey they did. Not feeling, and here I know everybody does everything they're supposed to do, but not getting their prescriptions filled. Or sharing prescriptions.
Using somebody else's prescription.
Let me try that. Your high blood pressure pills. That doctor did not prescribe that to you. And lastly, cutting your pills in half. Trying to stretch them. So these are all things that can negatively impact our health. And why is that important? The other thing that came up out of the survey is that most respondents realized they wish they understood Medicare more. How does Medicare, and I know, am I supposed to get it? Am I not supposed to get it? What's going on? 40% felt that they were somewhat or not at all comfortable in their plan for paying for health care costs beyond what Medicare would pay for. And then on top of that, over half of the people said, I don't even know if I could cover what Medicare doesn't pay for. So I don't even know how Medicare works. But what I do know is that whatever they not going to pay, I probably can't afford to cover. That's a serious situation, isn't it?
And I think the real problem here is that most people have health insurance, and we take for granted the health insurance while we have it. And because we just have health insurance, we just go to the doctor, it pays the bill. We go to the doctor, we pay the bill. But what we don't look at is, what does the future look like? We are people who live in today, and we're reactive people as opposed to being proactive. And so being proactive in your health care will allow you to understand this. Being reactive and just living in the moment, you're living in the moment, so you're not paying attention. And we're here today, and people's like, you're speaking on healthcare, medical, people young. Darlene has experienced it. I've experienced it. My parents, they're in their Seth Avenue, they're asking questions. I'd rather be prepared today than not. So when the storm came the other day, we're one of these people, when the storm, it's not going to hit this area. But I sent out a text to my church members, my family, my friend, said, make sure you have your water. Make sure you have all your important documents in plaster. Make sure you got food for 3-4 days. Make sure you have your prescription. Why? Because I'd rather be prepared and not need it than to need it and not be prepared. That's what this is about, bringing information so that you're prepared for what is coming. We're not living longer without needing some health, without having some health challenges. So we don't have an understanding of this and have a plan in place. We could end up in a position like, I love my best friend, but she's gone through, not just because her mother's sick, just even as a caretaker. It's so much involved in this whole process. So as you listen to this, don't listen, well, I'm not there, I'm only 30, I'm only 40. It is coming. If it's not coming for you for another 20, 30 years, it's coming for your parents in a minute.
Yeah. If your parents are still with you and you're in this room and you're young, then this is still going to be impactful for you. And don't worry, we have some stuff for you to help you keep from being in this situation. So, since most people wanted to know, well, what's going on with Medicare? Let me just do a quick overview. First of all, in order to be eligible for Medicare, you have to be age 65 and older, okay? That's how you get it. You have a 7-month, because this is a big thing too. Well, do I need to get it if I'm working? When do I sign up for it? You have a 7-month enrollment period, okay? The 7 months are 3 months before you turn 65, the month you turn 65, and then 3 months after you turn 65. That is your enrollment period for Medicare, okay? And that's Medicare Part B. So the general enrollment period, so for some people, if you're 65 and you're still working, you don't have to enroll in Medicare while you're still working if you're over 65. You can just keep working, okay? But once you stop working, then your 7-month period starts, okay? So the general enrollment for people who have decided, oh, well, I'm not going to get Medicare Part B right now. I'm just going to wait. The open enrollment, the general enrollment period is January through March. That's when you can get back in it. Now, Part A, because this is where a lot of confusion come in. Part A, that covers your hospital stays. Stay if you care for you in a skilled nursing facility, home health care, hospice care. Now, some of you heard me say care in a skilled nursing facility, but that does not count long-term care. That's only if you are in a skilled nursing facility for rehab. You have to be going there for rehab, where they expect for you to be there for a short period of time, get better, and get home.
Get out.
Okay? Because Medicare only pays 100% for the first 20 days. The first 20 days. Day 21 and on, they only pay 80%. And that's why it's important for you to understand how your health insurance works. See, Rita and I, we're trying to be weather forecasters, showing you what's going to happen, what's going to come. We're not up here being a reporter, someone who's telling you what already happened.
Like Florence's hit. You already know that.
You already know that.
What you want to know what's the storm that's going to come.
Right. What's its tracking? We're trying to show you what's tracking.
Absolutely.
Okay? So now, Part B. That's the part that you have to pay for. You have to elect to enroll in that. And that's what covers your doctors, your lab tests, surgeries, mental health, so on and so forth. Now, let me tell you. My mom, like some of you in here, is a retired federal employee. She retired from the government in 2003. She has the federal health insurance. But when it came time for her to enroll in Part B, she took it. Okay? Now, she had a PPO. Some of you in here may have an HMO where, you just go to one facility. But she had a PPO, so she had to pay, the health insurance paid 80%, she paid 20%. Now, before she was eligible for Medicare Part B, because she had extensive health challenges, her 20% sometimes would be $2,000, $1,800. The max she ever had to pay was $3,300 coming out of her pocket. And that was with health insurance. So, but once she got Medicare Part B, she didn't have to pay anything anymore because Medicare became her primary, her federal health insurance became her secondary, and they started picking up that 20%, okay? So right now, the Medicare Part B premiums, if in retirement at age 65, you earn less than $85,000, you pay $134 a month. Now, what I found interesting, Rita, is that the Medicare premiums is based on your prior year's salary.
Right.
So for 2018, the premiums are based on what you earned in 2016.
And it's interesting you say that. I just talked with a client the other day that her Medicare costs went up because when she retired, she took a lump sum out of her thrift saving plan. And that $70,000 lump sum became income, and instantly her income was higher. Then she had to pay more in Medicare, pay more in taxes. So when she looked at it, she said, Rita, I basically lost about 50% of my retirement because I took that lump sum and I took it after. So you got to make sure you have a plan in place to understand how all of this works.
Exactly. Now, lastly, late enrollment, because as I said, you can choose not to enroll in Medicare Part B. You don't have to get it. It's not mandated anywhere. It's just here for you. But if you decide after your enrollment period, after you turn 65, that, hey, you know what, I'm not going to get it, I'm going to wait. And then you later come back, let's say 4 years later. So you know what, I need some help with these bills. And you decide to go get Medicare Part B. You can still get it, but now it can be up to a 10% penalty for every 12 months that you could have had it, but chose not to. So you decided to wait 4 years. So you have a 40% penalty, which means a 40% increase in your premiums forever. That's what you would be paying. Okay? Now, planning for the unexpected. Remember I said, most people I asked you how much, if something happened to you, could you afford to pay for unplanned expense? Well, in the survey, most respondents, they could only afford $5,174 if something unexpected came up to cover an unplanned expense.
Ask yourself, how much of that could you pay? And if you had, how much money do you have saved? How long would it last?
Yep, and we're going to get to that. And ladies, this is a female problem. You know why? Because our husbands on average are 2.3 years older than us. Then on top of that, we're expected to live at least 2 or more years longer than our husband. So we're going to be the ones here, the surviving spouse, that's going to be responsible for the living expenses for more than 4 years after our husband passes.
Dolly, I saw a few men that was a little sleepy. They woke up on that one.
Yeah. So men, you have to prepare because guess what? As Rita said, we living longer and we living longer sicker. So the survival brings more expenses when you are sick. So now you have to worry about co-pays, deductibles, excess medical costs. I'm going to get into that. Last year, now remember, my mother has health insurance, but her portion for her prescription costs was $4,100 extra. $4,100 and climbing. All of these, and you have to add all to out-of-pocket costs. So, and this can lead, and and if you have to go into assisted living or a nursing home, it's going to be even a greater financial impact on you. And so the out-of-pocket healthcare cost estimates for a 65-year-old couple can reach anywhere from $279,000 to $362,000. This $279,000, that's for the men, because they're going to be gone. Unfortunately, not the ones in here. Y'all gonna live just as long. This is long. Because after this, you're going to do some things, because Rita's going to go over some things we can do right now. But the $362,000, that's a 30% more increase than us women that we're going to have to pay. Why? Because we're going to still be here living longer. And our medical costs are still going to be going up. These are things like our health insurance premiums. My mom pays $585 a month. So that's already another almost $7,000 just in her health care costs. Then you add her prescriptions, you're at $10,000. That's for 1 year.
Yes.
1 year. She's been retired since 2003. So you start doing the math. So what's the solution? If you're young or if you're an older person and you're in good health, look at a health savings account. That's a high deductible plan but the benefit to you is that your premiums are lower. And so how does it work? In the HSA, you can save your money in a savings account, or you can put it in an investment account. Now remember, if you have it in a savings account, the money is just growing steadily. If you put it in an investment account, you're still subject to what happens in the market. But guess what? If you spend your money on qualified medical expenses, then that money is tax-free to you. And you can spend it at any time you want to on qualified medical expenses. But guess what? Say you never get sick. You can still spend the money in that account. This is an extra retirement savings account for you, Rita. This is an extra retirement savings, so you can spend it on anything. However, because these HSA accounts, they are tax deferred, you have to pay income tax on it. But at age 65, you now have all of that money that you've saved for medical expenses that you have not used, that you can now use in retirement. So what else can you do? Plan now for the unexpected. You just need to put a few plans in place, such as paycheck protection. You get sick or hurt and can't work, your disability income, that's money that comes in that pays you a check. If you're young and you're still in childbearing years, guess what? Whether you have leave on the books or not, you could be off and have money while you're having your baby. Spend some time with your baby. Critical illness plans. As we age and we develop health situations, critical illness plans allows money to come to you to pay for things if you have a stroke, a heart attack, if you have cancer, long-term care insurance. This right here is a powerful subject for me. These critical illness and long-term care. When you can't do 2 or more of life's daily activities, that's where long-term care comes in. My mom has 2 very debilitating health situations. She can't do 5 of the 6 ADLs. Probably at this point, all of them, right, Rita? All of them. But because we did not have long-term care in place, every month, see, when you get older and you get sick, somebody's going to pay, because your health insurance and Medicare does not pay for long-term care. So who's going to pay? In this situation, it was me. Over $1,000 a month, because she could not be left alone. And ask yourself.
It's so critical, because what she showed you earlier was a cost between $279,000 and $360 something. That's just for the person. It didn't include what you have to pay, what your children have to give up, with their salaries they have to give because they can't work. Darlene being self-employed, when she doesn't work, she doesn't make money. It doesn't include what her whole life she has to uproot. And that nothing bad about her mother, but if we can be proactive in the place, it's more than $379,000. For her, what she's lost over these 5 or 6 years being a caretaker, it could be millions to her in her future. So when you think about this is not just about you. It's about all those other people who will be impacted by you when you're sick. That she love her mother, you love your mother. You're going to do whatever you need to do for them to survive. But what can you do today so that doesn't have to be your story? And that's what this is about. What plans? I know it costs money. Yeah, but is that one dinner worth you not going out to eat than to do something that could, because all these plans, all it says that you're trading small amounts of money for large amounts of money. I'd rather give you $30 a month now, so when I need the $3,000 a month, it's worth it. What is it worth to you? Because that's what has happened to Darlene. She showed me in the world what it means to be a caretaker. What it means to be a caretaker. She's gone beyond. But what if they have had some plans in place? That's what this is about. I'm sorry, because we got to understand this, because everything on this page here, my mother died of colon cancer in 1977. She worked for the government. Nothing has changed if you work for the government. She didn't have paycheck to protect her. So when she didn't work for 3 years with colon cancer, we didn't eat. Critical illness, it would have paid for her care. Had she had a cancer plan, my father missed work. And then as a result of missing work in private industry for Safeway, he lost his job. It's an impact when we don't have something in place. It's not just about you. It's about all those people that's connected to you, that their whole life changes when your life changes too.
And tell them, Rita, because a lot of people think, just going back to Medicare, that, hey, I'll transfer some stuff. Or I'll sell everything and I'll get Medicaid. And how would that impact a couple?
Well, truly, first of all, you got to be broke to be to get your Medicaid. Now, there are some tactics that you can do. You can put your assets in a trust. You can do some things. But one of the things that blew my mind, that is people do it. It's known by Medicaid that people have to get a divorce. Because if you're married and you have assets, you got to divorce yourself from your spouse so they can be poor and you can keep your asset. That bothered me because I took my vows serious. Like, here, this is this commitment I made to God. Now I got to go against the commitment to God so my husband can afford health care, or I can afford health care. That's a problem for me. And it's a problem because if we are not proactive, we then have to become I can't even imagine living in my house. What would that do to my mental? Living with him, shacking, divorced, but I was married, but only divorced because we can't afford health care. That's tough.
Trying to forecast for you all, not report. So, you ask, how can we pay for this? Oftentimes people, we've talked to people, and they're like, oh, well, I have, money in my retirement account. I don't need any of those plans. I'll just use my retirement money because I've been saving. I've been doing really good, so I'm okay. Now, let's look at someone that's going to use that plan. So here we have someone who has $800,000 in their TSP or your 401k or your mutual fund, but you got some money. And we're going to assume this person is in a 22% tax bracket. So a home health aide, okay, in this area right here, Maryland, $58,000 a year. Now, I told you my mother was paying $4,100 for her help for her prescription, so I lowered it for you all, $3,000. So the total cost per year, $61,500, okay? And we're going to use your savings because you've done a great job accumulating it. So let's do the math. So since your funds in your 401k or TSP are tax deferred, we have to account for the taxes. So in order to net the $61,500 that you need, you have to withdraw $73,800 a year to get that, okay? Now, the $73,000 that you withdraw in care is counted towards your income. So you know what else that's counted towards? Your income for Medicare Part B. So now you're going to be paying more.
And taxes.
Because
your income just went up. Your income just went up,
so you're going to owe more taxes.
Because you're more than likely you're in another 1 or 2 tax brackets above because of that lump sum.
Exactly. And you're going to be paying more for your Medicare Part B premiums. And so with this in mind, in 11 years, your money is gone. So if you were 65 and this happened, now you're 76 and now what? But you're still getting a paycheck too. So you still don't qualify for Medicaid, so just wipe that off your forehead right now. Now, Rita, talk to them about the 6 healthcare laws, because these are things we can do right now.
And prior to that, she talked about annuity. David just left out, but one of the things that we always suggest to our clients that you do what's called an income annuity. And so when we sit down with you, we help you to strategize. If you have a lump sum of money, like that case, $800,000, we teach you how to create maybe 2 to 3 streams of income from that. And one of those streams will be for your future health care. So you kind of we just can't just blow all the money because we got it. You got to be able to be strategic. And I want some of this money turned on at 62. I want some turned on 66 when I turn 70. That's what we do. We help you to create an income stream, and one of those income streams will help you set aside. If you don't have it, is to put money aside that you know if this 50, 60 grand, I'm going to dump this in 10 years when I need it. I now got another stream of income that can come in and to help pay for it. But one of the things we want to look at is that how do we become proactive? And this, y'all, I'm talking to myself more importantly. One is fresh air. Get outside. Fresh air is critical. I don't know if you guys know, you need to be able to breathe. And I'm telling you, stress is, I have some books back there because of my life coaching and how the mind and the emotions affect our health critically. And one of the things I realized when I was holding in all of my emotions, I wasn't even breathing. Like when I finally released some stuff, it's like, oh my God, like I can breathe. Like for years, you holding in emotions that are negative, it impacts you. And then you need some sunshine. I know we kind of the chocolate people, we feel like we got all the tan in the world we necessarily need. But God created that every living thing in the world is dependent on sunlight. And without sunlight, nothing will live. So we got all of us need some vitamin D because we scared of the sun. Get outside and walk in the sun for 10, 15 minutes. You know, if you need a big old sun hat on, so you don't get it, put on some suntan lotion or whatever you need. But you scream. That's it. So rest. This for me, y'all. The body requires rest to heal. It's the greatest rejuvenator. It restores strength to the muscle, nerves, and brain. So when I was young, I felt like, when you're young, you're in business, we stand up, 2 o'clock in the morning, we getting up at 6 o'clock. Because you're young and you think it don't matter. That has an impact on your body down the line. And now, when you hit your 50s, flash and make you not sleep. So you need to get as much as you can while you're young. Because when you get to this age, you twisting and turning, and all night long, you fan and turn on the fan, putting on the cover, taking off the cover. So you need to have it together. And she's trying to steal it from my hand now. Exercise. God designed that the living machinery, this body, should be in a daily activity. So we should be moving. So we have our move fitness expert in the house too. So if you're looking for somebody to help you we got to be doing something. So I'm in a townhouse and I don't even want to move into another house. Why? Because, I'm forgetful. So I'm always, when I'm home, I'm going up the steps. I'm going back down the steps. Oh, I forgot this. I go up the steps. I go back down the steps. I know my neighbors think something wrong with me because I get outside, forget something, got to go back in the house. I forgot something, I got to go back in the house. But those steps for me, sometimes that's the exercise I get that day. I walk up and down the steps. The next one is water. The body requires water constantly. And it says here that most of the water is recycled within the body itself. So therefore, if it's recycled, it has to be replaced. And they say 8 glasses a day. But what the experts tell you, that you need to half of your weight. So if you're 200 pounds, you need 100 ounces. If you're 250, you need 125. And divide that by 8, you may need more than 8 glasses. You may need, for me, I need 9.5. That's okay. You can add up my weight if you want to. I'm thinking about y'all.
I'm just going to sip on this.
And the last one is nutrition. And that's proper nutrition is vital to good health. From food, we get everything from the vitamins, the minerals, carbohydrates. And I'll tell you, this right here is more important than you actually planning for your retirement. Because, see, your retirement is going to give you the money. But if you don't have some health, all that money ain't going to do you no good, or you're going to spend it all. I am constantly in this play. Okay, Sophia, I'm starting again. Some people, how many times you started diet, you started eating plan, you start exercising, you start walking, and then you fail. But did you, when you ain't have a boyfriend or a man, did you stop looking there? You kept looking for that, right? So the things that we truly want, we keep trying over and over and over again. How about keep trying until we get it right? We already know. We just got to look. I tried this thing, and I had an issue with my high blood pressure for a couple of weeks. I'm doing this thing. I ain't gonna die. I ain't gonna live. And I went to New Orleans and Atlanta, all that good food. Okay, get it back together. Like, you can't keep your mind there. Keep doing it until you get this thing right, because these laws will help preserve you a little longer so that you need less help in the future.
Absolutely, Rita, and thank you for telling me that. So now, for those of you out there that may have jumped off of your bandwagon, and I'm sure you didn't do like me, I took mine up in the woods and burned it. Now I'm going to go back up there, get it, and get the rolling again.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much for that.
Do it together.
We have the right person in the room, Move Fitness, Sophia Price, to help us. So what other thing can we do? In your folder, get a healthcare assessment where we can, just by answering a few questions, we can see and map out what your future needs may be for your healthcare costs. Also, you have to plan for the unexpected. I know some of you don't want to hear this, but you need a budget, and we can help you.
Well, people don't like that B word.
Yeah, this the other B word.
This the real B word.
This the real B word. I mean, you get some lips turned up when you say a budget. What?
And it's interesting. We just left the conference. We left a conference. We asked people in the room, how many people here have a budget? And one of the classes, we were packed to capacity. We had 126 people in the room. About 12 people raised their hand that said that they had a real budget that they live by. Now, I know all of you guys are like, how it was. I pay my bills every month. You know what you pay every month. But that's normally not what take us to bankruptcy. It's that unexpected health. Or it's that vacation that you didn't put in your budget. So if you're going away and you spending $4,000 a year on vacation, then $350 approximately need to go into your budget monthly. You got these, like, I like these nice glasses. Like, I can't walk around with some cheap glasses. I got no line by. I don't want y'all to know I'm blind, so I got no line bifocals. See, all these things cost about $450. That means $40 a month got to go into my budget. I'm going to give away some gifts at Christmas, vacation, people having a birthday. That got to go into my budget. I get car repairs, not every month, but what do you estimate? If that is not in your budget, what happens is that you now got to go into your cash. You got to now go charge. So the money that was designed for your future, for your savings, for your reserve, you just took it away because you didn't have a budget and those things were not planned. So one of the things we do is we make you do that B thing so that we can help you prepare for your future.
Right. And by doing that B thing, the budget thing, we can help develop a plan to fill in the gaps for your health care, just preparing for the what ifs in retirement and the what ifs right now, and address an income strategy for you. We can start putting that together now because we can see the flow of your money. And as Rita always says, move that money from where?
From your left pocket to your right pocket. That's my goal. I don't want to take it away from you. I just want to shift it from this pocket to this pocket, because if I can take it from eating out every day and then put it into your retirement plan, you may never get a raise. My job is to help you live better at your same exact salary.
Exactly.
And you could do that because I used to drink Starbucks every day. Then I went to 7-Eleven. Then I got this whole brain thing. How about go back to Maxwell House, good to the last drop at home? And from Starbucks to 7-Eleven to home, I'm probably saving about $20 a week, a month, compounded over 10, 20 years. That's just from drinking coffee. So we got pods. I got pod machines everywhere. Here we go.
So in closing, just some things to remember. Many working Americans with only modest planning could be a significant risk if you experience a financial crisis. 62% of bankruptcies are the result of medical causes. Me and my mom are in this number. She had to declare bankruptcy because we just could not keep up with her other expenses outside of her living expenses and her health care costs. 76% of those declaring bankruptcy for medical expenses had health insurance. We were in that number too. She has health insurance. So managing the physical hardship is one thing, but don't forget about the potential financial strain, as Rita so eloquently laid out. So could you afford the sizable uncovered expenses that result? And how would that affect your nest egg? if that occurred, because you're trying to save for retirement. You want to walk out that door one day, right? So we're trying to give you the forecast to help you do that, to get you prepared for the weather that is coming later on in life. So planning is bringing the future into the present so you can do something about it right now. So that's it for us. Thank you so much. Let us help you chart your course. We are your Financial Fair Friday team.
Yes.
We are Affordable Benefit Solutions. Thank you so much
you
for coming out. And that concludes our Financial Fair Friday.